GoPro makes some great cameras and the optional accessory backpacks make them so much better. A camera such as this GoPro Hero3 Black Edition needs plenty of power, but unfortunately the supplied battery lasts a little over 60 to 90 minutes on a good day. Although we can purchase spare batteries, what do you do if you don't want that interruption in video recording or time lapse in order to change a battery? Welcome to Ifty's Tech Corner, where today we are looking at the GoPro Battery BacPac. Now this GoPro Battery BacPac is a pretty interesting concept and works pretty well. We've seen these in the past with the Hero3, but this newer generation incorporates some subtle differences which we'll take a look at later in this video. For now, let's get stuck in and see what we get inside the box. Okay, so let's take a look inside this box here. I tend to open these boxes from the bottom. I just find them much easier to get into. We have the actual battery backpack itself here. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Other than that, we have the typical GoPro Accessories Box. And in this accessories box, it's all labelled up there. We do have, it says we have a user manual, but we don't actually receive a user manual. We receive some warranty information and a card to tell us that the user manual is actually online and to update our GoPro before we use the actual backpack itself. Other than that, we receive a standard USB cable. This is the same USB cable you would receive with your GoPro camera itself. We have a case to store the actual, so it has the GoPro logo at the front, and we use this to store the actual backpack when it's not in use. And finally, we have two back doors here. Now these back doors are slightly thicker than the standard back doors, obviously to cater for the increase in thickness of the camera once the backpack is attached. One is a skeleton back door and one is a waterproof back door with a button on the side for the button that's on the actual backpack. Again, we'll come to that in just a moment. Finally, we receive an extension mount here. This is a straight extension mount, so it's not a right angle, and this is used so we can still maintain full range of movement even with the added thickness of the back doors. Now the unit itself has a slightly rubbery texture and feels well built and constructed. We have the standard proprietary GoPro connector on the back along with the side hinge, and on the side we have the single button here which we press like so, and it gives us an indication of how much battery life is remaining. Now there's a small LED light here which is used to indicate both charging and recording status, and finally on this side we have the standard USB connector, which is exactly the same connector that's used on the actual GoPro camera itself. When we connect the battery backpack, we simply slide the side hinge into place and push the backpack down onto the rear of the actual GoPro, and it becomes the actual primary battery on the device. By that I mean the camera will draw its power from the backpack first before automatically switching over to the battery within the camera itself. This switchover is completely automatic and does not result in any interruption in your video recording. By having the backpack attached, you are effectively doubling your recording time. Now you can see which battery is being used at any time by looking at the LCD on the actual camera itself. If you're using this unit on a Hero3, you'll see a small number 2 next to the battery icon. This indicates the battery backpack is being used, whereas a number 1 indicates the power is being drawn from the camera's own internal battery. If the backpack is used on a newer Hero3 like I have here, the camera LCD displays the status of each battery. The top row shows the battery backpack status and the bottom row shows the camera battery status. Now bear in mind that the battery backpack will not work if there's no battery present within the actual camera itself. You must have a battery inserted in the camera for the backpack to operate. Now the main drawback with this unit is that it's a complete single enclosed unit. You can't change the battery once it's been used. With the previous version, for example, once you noticed the backpack had been used and the camera power had switched to its own internal battery, you could open a door on the rear and swap over the actual backpack battery, and the camera would switch back to the backpack with no interruptions in your recording. With this new unit, once the battery backpack has depleted, you have no option but to charge it, unless you have this connected to a power source while it's in use. Now this brings me on to charging. As stated earlier, we use the same USB cable as we use on the camera to charge the Battery BacPac. However, we now have a new feature called pass-through charging. By leaving the backpack connected to the camera, we can connect our power source to the backpack here, and it will allow power straight through to the battery within the camera as well as the one within the backpack. In effect, it's charging both batteries via the single power source. Charging the camera battery first and then the Battery BacPac second. Bear in mind this is only compatible with the Hero3 range of cameras. Now the main drawback here is that it doesn't actually work. GoPro are aware of this and are apparently working on a fix which will be released as a firmware update in the near future. It's a convenient concept once they actually get it working. So is this a worthwhile purchase? Personally, I would say it depends on how you use your camera. If you only tend to record short clips, you should be able to swap out the camera battery with a spare in between recording clips. However, for those of you who like to record longer clips, such as recording a motorsport event for example, and can't get to the camera to swap batteries, or just want the convenience of longer recording times, this is a complete lifesaver. Feel free to leave a comment below. Keep an eye on this channel for more GoPro videos, backpack reviews, editing tips and tutorials all coming very soon. Please feel free to like this video, it really does help me out. Don't forget to subscribe though, as you'll automatically be entered into my 2013 monthly giveaway. Click the logo above for more details. See you soon on IFTY's Tech Corner.